And here with us now is former South Carolina Senator Jim Demint. He is the author of a new book, Conservative, Knowing What to Keep. And Senator, I thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Jenna. Ben, great to be on the set again here.
I appreciate it.
It's great to have you. So we want to talk to you about your book. Congratulations, by the way, very exciting. But just a little bit of news of the day first.
Sure.
So the House is getting ready to vote on the impeachment inquiry tomorrow, getting ready to vote on whether or not to authorize it. Your thoughts, Senator, on this whole impeachment inquiry?
Well, I believe it is a sham. I think if they had a legitimate inquiry, they would have voted on it in the beginning and set the rules and given both sides a chance to present evidence. That's called due process in America, very constitutional. But as Lindsey Graham says, now they're trying to unring the bell. They're trying to go back and act like they've got a legitimate process while they've spent a month leaking information that they cherry-picked to try to shape the attitudes of the American people. So I don't feel good at all about it. I hope no Republican will vote for it, and I would like to see some Democrats stand up and say this is not how we do things in America.
Now, Jim, aside from the impeachment, President Trump has been getting some flack for not alerting top Democrats about the military operation to kill ISIS leader Baghdadi. Was or is that his responsibility to do that?
No, it's not. And particularly the way the situation is now, if he had alerted Democrats in the Congress, the Baghdadi would have likely been gone by the time our forces got there. We just cannot trust the process. They are, even in security briefings now, they're leaking things out. And so in the interest of the safety of our troops, I think it was important for the president to keep this secret until it was done, which is not unusual for presidents anyway. So.
You've said before that President Trump does not represent the future of the Republican Party. Do you still stand by that, Senator?
Well, I hope he'll be the future for the next 6 years, but any of us who are my age or his age are not going to be the future for the party. My point there was that the future of the party is not in any one person's hands, and that's not healthy anyway. It'll be in the hands of folks who are in their 20s and 30s now. One of the reasons we wrote the book designed to reach millennials and help explain this terrible division, insanity we have in Washington now. There are really two sides of this thing if people need to understand what the war is about.
Jim, let's talk about your book. You mentioned how faith has an impact on America. Do you believe faith is still impacting our culture as we speak?
Oh, yes, it is. Outside of Washington, I mean, the media would have you believe that it doesn't, but I travel enough to know that 95% of the conservatives in this country are believers who are active in government because they feel like they're stewards of this great country, and it's a great motivation to have. They don't want anything in return. They just believe that God has given us a great blessing called America. It's their job to be vigilant to keep it free. Faith still has a role, and one of the chapters in our book is about keeping our faith and how it relates to America and our freedoms.
And you kind of got into this a little bit, but why was it so important for you right now, where we stand in history, to write this book?
Well, we talk about conservatism all the time, but it's not well defined. On the left, they call it bad names of hateful and bigotry. On the right, sometimes we talk about it in terms of political policies, when in fact, conservatism is about keeping those things that we value, the things that make life better for us. That includes our traditions of family, of marriage, of going to church. And we bring forward a lot of what Russell Kirk talked about in the conservative mind back in the 1950s. But one of his key platforms of conservatism was the belief in a transcendent order. And that is the way to create civility in a society. And when we push that out, we get what we have today in Washington.
Senator, thank you so much for not only talking to us about your book, but also news of the day. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.